Aaron Charles Rodgers' story begins long before stadiums roared his name or records bent beneath his talents. It begins quietly in Chico, California, where he was born on December 2, 1983, into a family that valued discipline, heart, and possibility. His father, Edward, who had once played offensive line for Chico State, believed deeply in the lessons sports could teach. He often tossed a football with his sons Luke, Aaron, and Jordan, warning them that talent meant little without accountability, that partying and drifting through life would only steal opportunities. Aaron absorbed every word. Even as a boy, he showed a seriousness that set him apart. At just 10 years old, he appeared on the front page of the Ukiah Daily Journal after dominating a basketball free throw competition, a small preview of a future defined by precision and control. Aaron's childhood shifted through different towns, Ukiah, Beaverton, and eventually back to Chico, but his focus remained steady. In Oregon, he played baseball as a sharp-arm shortstop and pitcher, while in California, his football talent began to awaken. At Pleasant Valley High School, Rodgers blossomed into a quarterback with rare instincts and accuracy. He set school records, fired 6 touchdown games, and accumulated over 4,400 passing yards in just 2 seasons. Yet, despite his brilliance, Division I colleges mostly ignored him. At barely 5 feet 10 inches and 165 pounds during recruitment, he didn't look like the prototype scouts were seeking. Florida State turned him away. Illinois only offered a walk-on slot. It was a time when doubt pressed against him from every direction, and he considered quitting football entirely. But fate has a habit of revealing itself at the last possible moment. Butte College in Oroville welcomed him, a junior college with no glamour, but with opportunity. There, Rodgers exploded. He grew physically, mentally, and emotionally, redefining himself as a leader and playmaker. His performance at Butte caught the eye of the University of California, Berkeley, and soon he transferred into a program ready to showcase his talents on a national stage. At Cal, he blossomed. He shattered interception records, commanded the offense with poise, and played like a quarterback sculpted for the NFL. By his junior year, scouts across the country circled his name. He was seen as gifted, composed, strong-armed, and uniquely efficient. When the 2005 NFL Draft arrived, Rodgers walked into the green room, believing he might be selected first overall by his childhood team, the San Francisco 49ers. But the moment stretched painfully. San Francisco passed on him. Then another team. Then another. Cameras caught his stillness, his patience, his tightening jaw. Hours passed before the Green Bay Packers called his name with the 24th pick. For many, the fall was a disappointment. For Rodgers, it became gasoline for a fire that would burn for decades. Green Bay meant stepping into the long shadow of Brett Favre, a legend whose name was synonymous with the franchise. Rodgers spent 3 seasons as Favre's backup, enduring the tension, the comparisons, and the uncertainty that came with waiting behind a superstar. But while the world speculated, Rodgers stayed quiet and worked relentlessly. He studied film late into the night, refined his mechanics, and learned the rhythms of the NFL from the sidelines. Every day was preparation for a moment he knew would come eventually. When Favre left in 2008, Rodgers finally took command of the huddle. The weight of expectation was immense. Fans still attached to Favre, analysts unsure Rodgers could rise to the challenge, and critics watching for any misstep. But Rodgers responded the only way he knew how, with performance. In his first season as a starter, he threw for over 4,000 yards, making throws that seemed to defy logic and physics. Calm, composed, and impossibly accurate, he quickly established himself not just as a worthy successor, but as a generational talent. The defining moment of his legacy came during the 2010 season, a year marked by injuries and unpredictability for the Packers. Entering the playoffs as an underdog, Rodgers delivered a stretch of performances so extraordinary that they remain etched into NFL history. He sliced through Philadelphia, dismantled Atlanta, and outplayed Chicago, earning a trip to Super Bowl 45. Under the blinding lights of Dallas, Rodgers authored a masterpiece, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a calm command that lifted Green Bay to a championship. When he was named Super Bowl MVP, confetti swirling around him, he stood not as Favre's successor, but as a champion in his own right. Over the next decade, Rodgers constructed one of the greatest quarterback resumes the sport has ever seen. His 2011 season became the blueprint for quarterback perfection, leading the league in passer rating, touchdown percentage, and efficiency that still seem unreal. In 2014, he reminded the football world of his composure with his famous relax line, then guided the Packers on another dominating campaign that ended with an MVP trophy. His 2016 run-the-table proclamation, followed by an astonishing string of victories, highlighted his uncanny ability to combine confidence with execution. Even adversity never dimmed him. In 2018, he limped through injury, yet delivered heroic moments, including an unforgettable comeback against Chicago. In 2020 and 2021, he returned to MVP form, capturing back-to-back titles and earning praise as one of the most talented throwers in NFL history. He finished seasons with interception totals that seemed impossible, sometimes throwing just 2 or 3 picks in hundreds of pass attempts. His arm strength, precision, and creativity made him a magician on the field, rolling left, firing across his body, placing passes exactly where defenders could never reach them. Yet greatness rarely comes without conflict. Rodgers' later years in Green Bay were tested by organizational disagreements, shifting philosophies, and changing relationships. Rumors swirled every offseason, but through it all, he performed at an elite level. Ultimately, the chapters in Green Bay closed when he was traded to the New York Jets in 2023, ending an 18-year tenure that reshaped the franchise. New York embraced him, expecting a renaissance. But in a shocking twist, Rodgers tore his Achilles just 4 plays into his debut. The world watched in disbelief as a season of excitement turned into heartbreak. Still, he fought back, attacking rehab with determination and refusing to let injury define the final chapters of his career. He returned in 2024, but the Jets released him after the season, setting the stage for one final act. On June 6, 2025, Rodgers signed a 1-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The move stunned fans. Many questioned whether his larger-than-life personality fit Western Pennsylvania's blue-collar identity. Even former Steelers legends expressed skepticism. But Rodgers arrived undeterred, wearing number 8 out of respect for Terry Bradshaw's legacy, and stepping into a locker room eager for experience and leadership. His debut came against his former team, the New York Jets. Under the lights, Rodgers proved he still held magic in his arm. 22 completions on 30 attempts, 244 yards, and 4 touchdowns without a turnover. Pittsburgh won 34-32, and the stadium thundered as if welcoming a warrior who had one last fight in him. Later that month, he surpassed Brett Favre for 4th place in career touchdown passes, a moment heavy with symbolism, marking a career that had come full circle. But football has a way of testing even its greatest. In Week 11 against Cincinnati, Rodgers fractured his left wrist, forcing him to miss a game and raising questions about whether age and injury were finally catching him. Yet, as he had done countless times before, he returned, resuming his place under center and pushing forward toward what he hinted might be the final season of his career. Off the field, Rodgers lived a life shaped by high-profile relationships, enormous earnings, and interests far beyond football. His romances with Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick, and Shailene Woodley were widely followed. By late 2024, he confirmed he was dating Britney, and in mid-2025, he revealed that he had quietly married. Financially, he stood among the highest-paid athletes in the world, signing enormous contracts with the Packers and purchasing lavish properties, including a $28 million Malibu mansion. Yet, for all the fame and fortune, Rodgers' story remains anchored in his relentless belief in himself. Through being overlooked in high school, doubted on draft day, questioned as Favre's successor, and challenged by injuries later in life. His journey is one defined by resilience, talent, and the quiet fire that has guided him since he was a boy practicing free throws in small-town gyms. As the Pittsburgh chapter unfolds, Rodgers stands as a quarterback who has mastered the craft, rewritten NFL efficiency records, and carved a legacy that will endure for generations. His story is not just about football, but about persistence, identity, and the pursuit of greatness, no matter how many times the world tells you to wait your turn.